Eustass, Captain Kidd, is no longer on the sidelines. In Wano Kuni right now, we know that he's going to play a fairly big role when it comes to Kaido, but where are we going to see Kidd in the future? And when it comes to pre-time skip, as well as his past, there's so little we know. It's pretty surprising that we're only getting this stuff now, considering where Oda himself saw Kidd. But before we get to all of that good stuff, a quick word from our sponsor. So the sponsor for this video is none other than Kyoji, aka as I like to call them, Kyoji Games. And this, of course, is Elsword. Now, I've talked about Elsword before, but in Elsword currently right now, there is a new character known as Lobby. Now, Lobby is a new character with a whole new design, whole new feel. And Lobby, she has her own independent story compared to the main characters in the main storyline. And she has her own unique starting area as well as her own unique lore compared to the other characters in the main story. And this is already on top of the fact that a lot of the main characters have a whole new leveling progress system, which makes leveling a lot quicker compared to how Elsword was before. Now, Lobby herself was trapped in the Black Forest, and she knew nothing of who she was or what she was. But then, Elsword's sacrifice weakened the seal that allowed her to escape the Black Forest. And so she met a stranger, and then things kind of cascade from there when she left the Black Forest for the first time. So again, her own story is completely independent from the other stories of the other cast of characters, which makes her a fairly unique experience compared to the characters in Elsword. Now, of course, the game itself does have 3 job updates for all the 12 characters in the game. There's a new streamlined skill system where you learn skills automatically by reaching certain levels in the game, which makes things a lot more streamlined, a lot more fun to play when it comes to using skills. Thereby, this is a whole new enhanced method of learning skills. There are also a host of monsters in the game that are relatively new to the game that are Asian inspired, Asian mythology inspired, and a lot of zones are this way as well. There are in fact new skills in the game with new designs and new balance changes. When it comes to artwork, the updated character icons, the character intros, and primary skills, they've also been changed when it comes to their artwork and design. There's also brand new character artwork in the game itself, and the prime example is Lobby herself, where she does have a lot of character artwork specifically designed for her and her story. And of course, as always, the game has transitioned from a pay-to-win system to a play-to-win, which of course is the preferred way to go for many people that play these kinds of games. So if you like what you see, there'll be a link in the box below for Elsword. Check it out, check out Lobby, and check out her story. It's a fun and unique experience for Elsword, and that is something that is for sure very well welcome. And now we get on to the video, and now we get on to Eustass Kidd. So the current arc of One Piece, Wano Kuni, has done so far some good things for Eustass Kidd. And Eustass Kidd's character, of course, has a long way to go. And Eustass Kidd is being built up to be a major player in Wano Kuni. That is very obvious. So this current spotlight on Kidd is well needed. Very well needed. Considering how Ichiro Oda himself, compared to Trafalgar Law, he didn't see Law being such an important character, quote unquote, in the story, but Eustass Kidd he did. And considering how Law is fairly important and fairly prominent in several arcs, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, even Zoe you can say, well, here you have Eustass Kidd, a character that Oda thought was going to be even more important than Law. He's finally getting some shine now in Wano Kuni. Now, Wano Kuni, compared to those other arcs, should be an even bigger, more grandiose, more important arc for the overall story of One Piece, but only time can tell. And right now, it is well-needed stuff that we're getting from Eustass Kidd. Finally. And it's kind of shocking considering how, again, how Oda saw Law's character in the overall story of One Piece. So before we get to the future of Kidd's character, because I do see Kidd's character going a certain way. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the past, before Wano Kuni, and Kidd's character. Because Kidd's character pre-Wano Kuni, it's so little. The main things here are this. Pre-time skip. Eustass Kidd has the same dream as Luffy. He wants to become Pirate King, he wants to find the One Piece and become Pirate King.
I want to be the very best.
That was Kidd's MO. That is Kidd's MO. Number 2, Kidd is a fairly violent dude. Kidd is savage. Kidd, according to Shaki, on the route to Shogun Archipelago, had a lot of civilian casualties. And on top of that, when he hears Luffy say he wants to become the Pirate King, he's reminded of when folks would laugh at him about his ambition, his goal to become the Pirate King, and how he would wasteland them. He would destroy them. He would kill them. And then now fast forward to post-time skip. Not right at Wano Kuni, but pre-Wano Kuni, we see that he's an underground broker. And he lost an arm, and he has this crazy metal arm. But we see him form an alliance between Apu, Hawkins, and himself to take down Shanks, a Yonko. So he's aiming big. And he was getting intel when he was underground broker, considering how he was among the guys that were watching what was going on with Luffy and Caesar Clown and company on Punk Hazard. So he was gathering intel when he was underground broker as well. And considering where he stood previously, when it came to the Luffy-Kid dynamic, where he was above Luffy, well, a lot of folks only assume that he got even better than Luffy. But what happened? Well, Kaido fell. Motherfucker just fell from the sky, from the heavens. Even though you have stuff like Bear and Tamago talk about how Eustass Kid was going around destroying their ships, Kaido's involvement with Kid sidelined Kid's character for a period of time. And then after Kid is sidelined, his portrayal does take another hit. And that hit comes in the form of Brule. Now, Brule states that Kid, among other supernova, trying to invade Totland, but all of them were repelled, all of them were thwarted, except for one, which was Urouge. So Urouge got a tremendous spike in portrayal because he defeated a commander of a Yonko, the first among the supernova to do anything of that sort. We were told that Kid failed to do the same thing Urouge could do. So because Urouge, in many people's eyes, wasn't seen as that powerful compared to Kid, Urouge then took a tremendous spike in portrayal, and Kid wound up falling down a bit when it came to his portrayal. So at that point in time, Kid was in my top 5 in Supernova, but he was previously in my top 3. And it was fairly obvious that we wouldn't get to Kid stuff until we got to Kaido stuff. But still, considering the magnitude of Kid's character, fairly shocking that he was not really in the story for an extended period of time until this arc, Wano Kuni. Now, Eustass Kid, as of Wano Kuni, we found out that he lost his arm to the Red Air Pirates. Whether it's Shanks, whether it's Ben Beckman, whether it's Lucky Roo, Yasopp, the monkey on the crew, I don't know. But he lost his arm to the Red Air Pirates, and Brule was kind of wrong when it came to her statements on Kid when Kid went to the Totland area, because Brule made it seem as if a Kid was completely thwarted by whoever he faced when it came to a commander, but in fact Kid said, no, the end game here wasn't to invade in Totland and seize territory, but rather take revenge or take back something from a commander, and he injured a commander in the process. Now, whether it was Katakuri, Cracker, considering how Katakuri has never been touched or undefeated for a while, and Cracker the same way, probably either smoothie or snacks, and odds are it was probably snacks, all things considered. But that's my own headcanon. The fact of the matter is that a Street Commander was wounded by Kid, and he lost his arm to the Red Air Pirates. And Kid had no qualms afterwards blowing up Big Mom ships. No qualms at all. And on top of that, he was aiming for Shanks' head, who some folks say is the strongest guy in the world. Bold. Big ambitions there. However, Kaido came crashing down and ruined all that. And Eustass Kid is now finally back to the story. So once again, back to Wano Kuni, we find out these details about Eustass Kid. Then we find out that Kid apparently has Conqueror's Haki according to Kaido, which is a fairly big thing. Haki up! Because among this trio of captains, Law doesn't have Conqueror's Haki, but Kid and Luffy do. And the parallels of this captain trio are more in line with Kid and Luffy rather than Luffy and Law. So he has Conqueror's Haki. Okay, we see in the prison, Kid is carrying around the blocks just like Luffy, and they're racing against each other. Okay, we see Kid eat a lot of food just like Luffy. Okay, wow, he can eat a lot of food like Luffy. That's kind of surprising. And he puffs up and he gets fat and huge like Luffy. Did not see that one coming at all. Like what's going on here? Kid is so much like Luffy than I thought. And then we see him slim down like Luffy after eating so many kiwi dango. It's like, what? Eustass Kid physically is more like Luffy than I think most folks thought he was. Honestly, like I think very few folks thought that Eustass Kid physically was very similar to Luffy when it came to eating food, lifting blocks, running. Like, what is going on there? That is some funky stuff. And considering how combat-wise, the only thing we know of Eustass Kid pre-time skip is attract, repel, and that's it. He makes a giant metal hand out of the guns and swords and cannons of the marine guys around him, and he can attract and repel. Big whoop-de-doo. That's all we know of him combat-wise. It's so minor, it's absurd. But now, physically, we're getting some stuff here with Eustass Kid, and he's looking pretty impressive physically. If you can maintain pace with Monkey D. Luffy, not just in lifting blocks, but also eating food, what? That's pretty wild. So Eustass Kid right now is looking fairly good on top of the Conqueror's Haki that he has. Now, is it of like the same degree as Luffy's? I mean, because I can't even say that because there's no real like measurement of Conqueror's Haki. So I can't say who's better or who's worse Conqueror's Haki wise. But there are degrees of Conqueror's Haki clearly, because Oda said himself in an SBS, when it came to the fishmen, Luffy could knock out half of them, but Rayleigh and Shanks could knock out all of them. And some folks even say including Hory Jones and company. And it's like, oh, okay. So there are degrees of that as well. Let's say that he's around Luffy's degree of Conqueror's Haki. It looks like Eustass Kid could be on Luffy's level. There's just one real, well, there's several problems, but the main one, the one, is a portrayal one. Combat-wise, I would still say that Law is over Kid, only because Law is just he's so broken, it's absurd. His only real issue is stamina. Remember what he did to Virgo and the mountain range. It's like, dude, what?
Jesus.
Like, Law? What? Like, it's freaky. It's insane. But the big problem here isn't combat, it's portrayal. After Whole Cake Island,
Hi, how are you?
Luffy got gassed hard. And Luffy's bounty tripled from 500 to 1.5 billion. Whoa, big numbers. Morgans gave Luffy a lot of service. A lot of service. It was like, God damn. Luffy's feeling real good after that. Most death feeling real good after that. And yet, you have Kid, whose bounty, as far as you know, is still 470 million. Law currently has a higher bounty than Eustass Kid, and Luffy's bounty well surpasses Kid. Oda, again, had every intention of making Kid an important character, and since Law has been quintessential in several arcs, well, maybe the same thing could be applied to Kid as well. Maybe. And Eustass Kid is in this situation now with Luffy, where they clearly want to take out Kaido. They clearly want revenge on Kaido, and a lot of folks would assume, that Kid and Luffy, very similar to Luffy and Law in Dressrosa against Don Flamingo, Kid and Luffy will play some role together to take down Kaido.
Help me.
So, the question here is this: who gets the glory? Who walks away with the trophy at the end of the day? You see, if Kaido is defeated, God forbid, the world's strongest creature, the man that one-shotted Luffy and speed blitzed him in the process when he's in his strongest form, God forbid, the world's strongest creature meets his demise in Wano Kuni.
Help me.
How exactly would Kaido meet his demise? Now, a lot of folks surmise, a lot of folks think that at the end of Wano Kuni, in comes a Mr. All Day, Every Day, 24/7, 365, Team Blackbeard comes in there, very similar to Whitebeard. He is the cause of Kaido's death, because Kaido's at that point where he can be killed after all the fighting with Luffy and Kid and Law and whatever. Blackbeard takes his power and becomes a flying Chinese dragon with earthquake and darkness abilities. And that's the guy you gotta fight come Raftel. Good luck. But I would say there's other options available. And honestly, I prefer most of the other options rather than Blackbeard coming in there and taking the power. Because we've seen before, number one. Number two, again, think of endgame here. How do you beat that? How do you beat that? Like, actually beat that? A Chinese dragon with crazy offense, with darkness powers on top of that, as a Logia, and earthquake power. And the earthquake powers were part of the reason why Whitebeard was deemed the world's strongest man. The man could tilt sections of ocean. So, I think for the sake of power balancing sake, you don't make Blackbeard that powerful. You let other characters take the reins when it comes to the downfall of Kaido. Let's say it's Law, Luffy, and Kid at the end of the damn day. Or it's Kid and Luffy at the end of the damn day. Well, who's the one that does the double tap? Who's the one that actually pulls the trigger, the final trigger? Who's the one that cuts off the head? Luffy? Do you really think Luffy would cut off the head of Kaido? Do you really think Luffy pulls the double tap? I don't see it happening. But Kid! Eustass Kid! Oh, the final blow to end the life of 100 Beast Kaido, the world's strongest creature, could potentially and easily be Kid. If Oda is serious about making Kid an important character, not in just this arc, but also the overall story, and make Kid a genuine rival for Luffy when it comes to the One Piece, Kid has to be on Luffy's level portrayal-wise, I think, in more ways than one. Not just combat. And we're not there yet, of course not. We've seen nothing yet. But portrayal-wise, I think as well. Luffy is so much more ahead of the Supernova that the rest of them, when it comes to being adversaries for the One Piece, Capone, Apu, Hawkins, Drake, Uroge, Law, they're not in this league anymore. They're not in Luffy's league anymore, not even close. Luffy's a 1.5 billion berry man. And he's now on the precipice of reaching Yonko bounties, because we saw Blackbeard, he's 2.2. But the same way Morgan's gassed the living hell out of Luffy, Kid, if Oda's serious about making Kid a contender, Kid can be gassed. The same way Luffy was gassed. And Kid, his bounty surges into the billions. If that happens, then you know Kid's a competitor. Then you know we're serious now when it comes to Eustass Kid being a contender for the throne. That would coincide well with Oda stating that Kid's gonna be an important character. Kid only being relevant in Wano Kuni, that makes him useful and necessary, I suppose, in the arc itself, of course. But outside of that, unless they accredit him for playing a role in defeating Kaido, and that's really it, okay, then potentially, you can say, yeah, he played a bigger role in the story post-time skip, because whereas Law and Luffy were for a Shichibukai, Kid and Luffy were for a Yonko. Yeah, that's fair. But honest to God, I think more so than just being accredited, because Capone and Drum were accredited for causing some of the Big Mom Totland chaos. No. Kid has to take the glory. Like, Kid has to be the front man. Like, Eustass Kid and company take out Kaido. That's how you do it. Now, of course, Oda could say, well, just have all raised tremendously because Kaido's down. Yeah, he can do that too. Fair. But I think it would make a lot more sense to have Kid be the front man. Like, yo, Eustass Kid, he killed Kaido. Like, whoa, because they see Kaido on the ground. Let's say Luffy badly wounded, can't even move, and out comes Kid, can still move, double tap. Oh, Kid, boom. And he's gassed. And all of a sudden now, Eustass Kid and the Supernova, at least one of them, is back as a viable contender for the One Piece. Otherwise, after Wano Kuni, honestly, if Kid and Law, mainly Kid at this point in time, because Law, I would say it's too late for Law, honestly. I think Law at this point in time is just going to be henchman. I would hope that he would pass away in Wano Kuni because that makes the most sense for his character, honestly. But, we'll have to wait and see how that rolls. Either way, if Kid is not gassed, if Kid's just another dude that helped out Luffy, then the Supernova, they're done. They're done. There are no longer any viable competitors for the One Piece. And at that point in time, it's Yonko onward. Big Mom, Blackbeard, Shanks, whatever. Some folks want to theorize Monkey D. Dragon. Okay, fine. Emu, it's those cats and onward. And the Supernova are behind us, which in a way is unfortunate considering how the Supernova themselves needed a lot more shine overall when it comes to being viable competitors for the One Piece. But hey, clearly Oda wanted to focus on a few of the Supernova. And some of their shine like Capone. Drake is going to shine at some point, obviously. Hawkins coming out the W. Okay, impressive. Apu at some point will come in Wano Kuni too, but just when, I'm not too sure. Uroge off-screen Ws. Okay, fair enough. But Kid should be getting the big ones. But how big they are and how they're portrayed in comparison to Luffy, is he henchman to Luffy? Like, it was Luffy and cohorts. Is it going to be Luffy's peer, where it was a pirate alliance of Kid and Luffy and all these other samurai? Or is it going to be more so Kid takes the cake? That's going to decide whether we care about the Supernova or not. So that's it. That's my take on this subject. And let me know where you stand, because I'm curious. Of course, I'm always curious. Do you think Kid could take that glory? Do you want to see the Blackbeard thing? I love Blackbeard, but I'd rather not. I would also see an option as Kaido just leaving Wano Kuni and saving him for, like, after it's all said and done, leaving Kaido for the endgame war where it actually matters to his character. I think that's perfect too, honestly. So obviously, guys and gals, I am done. Let me know where you stand on this topic, and I'm gonna catch you guys and gals later. Be sure to rate the video. It is not that hard to do. I guarantee you that, because I know that you all have a device called Zamaosu. You use Zamaosu to click, rate the video, to click, subscribe, to click on that bell to join the squad. And of course, as always, feel free to let me know where you stand. Comment in the comment section down below. Peace, and have a nice goddamn day.